It's a beautiful day to be alive. It wasn't that long ago I actually believed prayer was a hokey pokey, ridiculous thing and you couldn't just pray for what you want and get it. And I found out I was totally wrong. And I came across a Gregg Braden prayer technique. He's a former aerospace scientist that became a really amazing quantum physicist. And he explains a prayer technique that literally changed my life. I mean, once I learned this prayer technique, I went from being a college dropout, trying to create my reality, self-publishing my first book because no one would publish it and everyone said it wouldn't sell, to becoming a millionaire by the time I was 27, publishing books with the largest English publishing company in the world, Penguin Random House, becoming a multi-millionaire by the time I turned 30. I'm retiring my wife, and I'm not saying any of that to I brag so you think I'm cool or something like that. I'm just saying it because it is freaking crazy how powerful prayer is if you know how to do it. And Gregg Braden is a aerospace scientist that went on a mission to discover the real science of prayer. And I break this down into 7 steps. I'm just sitting here looking at the beautiful mountains. It's a beautiful day. I was just looking out from my living room, and every time I look out, it reminds me of the power of prayer. It reminds me of the power of prayer, and it reminds me of the power of consciousness. And so I hope you enjoy this video. You can check out Gregg Braden's book on prayer, which I'll link right there down below. Make sure you hit the like button on this video to send it out into the YouTube universe so more people see this video. And right there down below is my free success hypnosis. It's jakeshypnosis.com right there down below. It's my free success hypnosis that I started to use because what I noticed is the hard part, once you learn this prayer technique, it's gonna change your life. Whether it's money, whether it's love, whether it's health, whether it's career stuff, whether it's a house, car, whatever the heck it is that you want, and it could be many things over the course of time. It's gonna happen when you follow this 7-step process very specifically. But one of the issues that I fell into is after I would do the prayer technique, sometimes, later on in my day, I'd revert to old thinking patterns. And I realized so much of my life was subconsciously programming me to block what I wanted. I was getting in my own way, right? Like I said, of all these things that I feel so grateful for that I was able to manifest in my life from this prayer technique that I said earlier. And I probably would have done a million times better if I didn't just get in my way so much. So that's why I created this free success hypnosis. It's right there down below. It's jakeshypnosis.com in the description and pinned to the comments, and you can check that out. Without further ado, I'm gonna go sit down right over here at one of my new favorite film spots. And I'm gonna break down these 7 prayer techniques. Comment right there down below. Let me know where in the world you're coming from. I'm in the beautiful southwest of the United States, and the power of prayer is universal. You may think, well, is it gonna work because I'm older, I'm younger, I live in this certain place, or I have these memories and these things that happen to me, and my current reality seems like it's not where I want. The power of prayer works everywhere. Let me know one thing you're grateful for, where in the world you are coming from, what city, state, and let's dive right into this very powerful Gregg Braden prayer technique that changed my life, and more importantly, it can change your life as well. So the very first step in this Gregg Braden prayer technique is a little phrase that Gregg learned from an ancient prayer technique passed through Native American traditions that were in New Mexico. And it's called praying for rain. And watch this video all the way through. I'm gonna be sharing with you a 7-step process to do this. And this isn't just theory. I used to, like I said, pray for what I want. I didn't get it. And when I came across this Gregg Braden prayer technique, my life changed. I became a millionaire, like I said, by 27, 28, multimillionaire by 30. Amazing things just started happening in my life left and right that I wanted, but I wasn't getting. And it all comes down to this very central idea of praying for rain, right? So Gregg Braden tells a story, and he's been traveling all over the world to Tibet and everywhere, trying to figure out how do you pray? What is the science of prayer? So this Native American chief that learned all this prayer techniques through his ancestors has him go on a big long hike through the very dry New Mexico desert, right? So imagine that you're walking with Gregg Braden and you're walking with this super incredible Native American chief. And you're walking through the desert, you get all the way up to this beautiful flat mesa, this beautiful vista that's overlooking the desert. And Gregg says to you and to the chief, he says, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. We're here. We're finally going to learn out how to pray for rain." And the chief says, "Yes, we've needed rain, so we're going to pray now." So you and Gregg get all excited. You're sitting there. You got this big smile on your face like this. "Yeah, we're going to do it." And 30 seconds pass. The chief's silent. And then he says, "Okay, let's go." And you guys are like, "What?" "Yeah, I already prayed." That's what the chief says. And the chief says, "Well, all I did was thank Mother Nature for the rain that I could smell, for the water I could smell it. I felt the raindrops on my body. I felt it in my hair. I could hear it. I could hear the crack of thunder. And I could see my people having their crops nourished. I could see it. I could feel it. I just said, thank you." So prayer is not about asking for something. Prayer is about giving thanks for having it. But our culture, we've been taught to think that prayer is about asking for something. But what it's really about is actually feeling that you already have it and genuinely thanking God, Spirit, the universe, whatever it is, life, genuinely thanking it, you already have it. So that leads me into my notes on number 2, is understand that prayer is a feeling and feeling is a vibration. So giving thanks for having it is about evoking a feeling. That chief was evoking a feeling when he heard the rain. He was evoking a feeling when he smelled it. He was evoking a feeling when he could hear the thunder. He was evoking a feeling in his nervous system and the cells of his body and his entire electromagnetic field when he was feeling the rain hitting his hair and his face, and he licked some of the raindrops off his lip or wiped it away from his eye. He's evoking a feeling. But how we pray is we think of the universe, we think of God, we think of whatever you want to call it as a vending machine in the sky. "Hey God, I need some money. Hey God, you up there? Can you give us some rain? Hey God, I'm really trying to meet my soulmate." Right? So think about what it is that you want. What do you want? Is it money, better job, make more money, get out of debt, your dream house? Is it your soulmate? Is it health? Whatever. Think of anything that you want. And then the question is, can you give thanks for a future that has not been made manifest yet? Prayer is a feeling and feeling is a vibration. In the Bible, it says that creation is finished, and I always thought that was bizarre. Like, what does it mean creation is finished? But if you think about it from the new science, creation is finished. Everything is energy, right? We know everything is energy. Energy is never created or destroyed. So creation is finished since everything is energy. All your prayers, all your wishes, it's all energy. And if energy is never created or destroyed and creation is finished, everything that you want already exists, essentially waiting for you to usher it into being through your shift in your feelings, which is a shift in your vibration. Because feelings are emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. You can comment that down below. Emotion equals energy in motion. Now, emotion is energy in motion. So prayer is feeling is vibration. So prayer is about evoking a feeling which alters reality from a subatomic level. So prayer is very scientific. Anyone that says that it's new age, anyone that leaves a comment, "Jake, this is just new age junk." Okay. God bless you. Because the science already shows us that energy is never created or destroyed and that everything is energy. Quantum physics shows us the observer effect. And if you're with me still, I'm trying to make this as powerful of a video as I can, because this truly changed my life in money, in health, in love, in happiness, in every area of my life. So if this video speaks to you so far and you're with me, give me a comment down below that says I'm with you, Jake, so I know I'm not talking to myself in a camera or talking to imaginary friends. So give me a comment down below, Jake, I'm with you, or smash the like button or whatnot. But think about this. Prayer is about evoking a feeling or a vibration which alters reality from a subatomic level. So quantum physics, one of the most famous things of quantum physics is the observer effect. And some people will go, well, are you a scientist? You don't need to be a scientist to look at what scientific breakthroughs we've had. And one of them in quantum physics is the observer effect, which was called the observer effect because based off of the consciousness observing it, based off of the scientists observing it, subatomic particles, because we used to think atoms were the building blocks of the universe. Think about how wrong we always are. Every time we think we're like, this is the way reality works, it's always way different than you could ever imagine, way different than we ever have imagined. So below atoms are subatomic particles, and scientists would observe subatomic particles. Sometimes they would be real, they would be visible, they would be observable, they would be a real particle localized in time and space. They could see it. And sometimes those particles would literally disappear and be gone. They would be invisible, they would be not physical, they would be beyond the senses. So they realized that subatomic particles could be visible or invisible based off of the consciousness observing it, based off of the energy that was influencing it or exerting force upon it. It would sometimes be visible and invisible. When it was invisible, it's still there because energy is never created or destroyed. And if energy is never created or destroyed, then all the energy that ever was and ever will be already exists. It just essentially went to another dimension. It went to the quantum field. It went to the non-physical. And so prayer is about shifting your feeling or your energy and therefore influencing or creating reality from the subatomic level. Really, it's just rearranging reality because creation is finished, so you can only manifest different frequencies or possibilities. And all the possibilities are available to you, that your life really can change. And I know this just sounds like theory and it's this guy talking, so let me share with you how exactly this literally changed my life absolutely forever. Once I came across that Gregg Braden teaching, to pray for rain by hearing it, by feeling it, by smelling it, I started to pray for everything in my life in the exact same way. So I dropped out of college when I was 19 years old. I was reading all these types of books and things like that, and I realized college wasn't the right place for me personally. So I decided I was going to drop out and I was going to put to test all these ideas I was reading in these books about that you could create your own reality. And I dropped out, backpacked around the world, wrote a book about it. All the publishers said no, that it would never work out and all these types of things like that. And when I came across this technique, I started mentally rehearsing what I want as if I already had it, not just in some idle visualization, but by legitimately feeling it. I legitimately saw publishers shaking my hand saying congratulations and giving me checks. I literally saw my inbox full of readers and viewers saying, hey, this has influenced my life in a positive way, thank you. I felt it. And I went from self-publishing my first book to selling over 10,000 copies of that. I was able to give a TEDx talk at like 21. So then Penguin Random House, the #1 English publishing company in the world, was paying me for books at 22 years old to write books. Those were things I never thought could happen because I failed junior English class in high school. I didn't think I was that smart. I didn't really know if any of this was even going to be possible, but I had an open mind, and a closed mind is the only mind worth losing. And I had an open mind, and I thought I would test these hypotheses. So that's all I'm inviting you to do. I'm not like, hey, look how cool I am, because like you could probably do way better than me. There's an infinite degree of potential to which you can tap into and I can tap into. And I've repeatedly done this same technique. When I decided I was going to start doing YouTube, I was getting no progress on it. And then I started doing the pray for rain technique. And I would do that by repeating this phrase: Thank you, God, for blessing my life. You can comment that down below. Thank you, God, for blessing my life. If you don't like the word God, you could switch it out for any other word you want. Alan Watts says you can't get wet by the word water. Call it whatever you want, but say, thank you, God, for blessing my life. And I would repeat that mantra. I'd close my eyes and I would reimagine a very specific scenario. So I want you to think about this right now. If you're with me here, think about this. What I did is I wanted my YouTube channel to go viral. And so I imagined a scenario. I said, what would it look like if it happened? So ask yourself that. What would it look like if you got what you wanted? What would be some scenario, right? And I imagined one that I would sit down at my computer, I'd refresh my screensaver. You know, you shake the mouse and the screen goes from black to color. And oh my gosh, out of nowhere, all of a sudden I had more subscribers in one day than I had in the entire career of my YouTube channel. My comments were full of all these people saying, oh my gosh, this is so great. One of my videos went viral. I was so shocked. I stood up, I yelled to my wife, Ashley, you won't believe it, my video went viral. Holy crap, yes. I call it the record player technique. I would just loop that over and over and over in my head until I evoked a feeling of it, until it literally felt real. I heard it, I saw it. You could probably feel it in my energy when I described that, right? That's the same thing that you're gonna do. Now, let me tell you, it literally changed my life. I would do that, I would play my free success hypnosis very softly in the background to go directly into my subconscious. You can use it if you want. It's right there down below. It's jakeshypnosis.com. Don't grab it yet. Let me tell you how crazy this is once I finally combined it first. But it's right there down below. It's in the description and it's pinned as the top comment. It's my free success hypnosis to reprogram your subconscious mind. About 1 million people have used it and it's literally life-changing when you combine it with this prayer technique. But before you get it first, so I start doing this, I mentally rehearse it, I'm doing the record player technique, imagining that scenario I just described, and I'm not getting the results that I wanted. And so I was stressed out, and Ashley and I decided we were gonna go camping and just get away for a little bit. So we go camping, we get away for a little bit, we're out in the middle of a national forest, so I don't have any cell service or Wi-Fi or anything like that. And we spent 2 days there, and then I had to go back into town to go to a little internet cafe so I could publish a new YouTube video. And so Ashley and I go into town, she's standing in line to get us some lattes. I sit down at the web browser and I'm just like popping in, gonna, get in and get out real quick. Holy crap, one of my videos went viral. Oh my God, like 3 of them went viral. And these were videos that have already been up on YouTube for a while. All of a sudden I have like hundreds of comments and my YouTube, I click my YouTube subscriber, it's up like thousands of people. And I literally turned to Ashley in line. I jumped out of my chair. I ran over to her and I said, quietly so I didn't look crazy, "You're not gonna believe it, my YouTube channel went viral, come here." "Well, I'm in line getting the light." "No, come here right now." And I'm hitting the refresh button, showing her, and my life changed. After that, my life changed, literally. I started getting millions of website visitors, people buying books from all over the world, people asking instead of books, because people in other languages, countries, instead of doing seminars, consulting, people asked for digital courses. I started making digital courses. Then things just kept leading to one another. Literally, my life changed because of that. So, crazy story, I know, but for number 3 is, now that you understand that, the key to know if you're praying correctly is to be aware of the frequency that you're sending off. And what is a frequency? It's energy, it's emotion, it's emotion, it's energy and motion. That sets up your electromagnetic field, your vibratory pattern, your feeling. And when you get up from your prayer, you'll know whether you were successful or not based off how you feel. Every time I do that, and I still do that same record player technique for my channel now, every time I do it well, I feel better. I feel different. I feel connected to that energy. I have manifested, I've brought in that new energy. And what a lot of people do is they go into their prayer the opposite. They feel just as bad or worse than they did before because they're spending their prayer time letting their monkey mind wandering, imagining that they don't have the money they want, imagining they're at their same crappy job, imagining they're in their same poopy house, imagining they're in their same broken car, imagining they're single again and they're going, God, could you please give me the money? God, could you please help me find someone that likes me and I could be in love? God, what they're doing is they're reinforcing the same reality they don't want anymore. They're matching the energy of it, the emotion of it. They're conjuring up the pictures in their mind. Those pictures are creating emotions. Those emotions are creating frequencies. That frequency is controlling your energy. That energy is influencing reality from a subatomic level. And so you keep getting the same thing over and over and over. You aren't actually getting the same thing because energy is never created or destroyed and energy is always moving. You're just recreating the same scenarios over and over and over and over again. So you check in with how you feel. And when you feel different, that means you have successfully offered the prayer. And that's why it says in the Bible, to those that have, more is given. To those that have, more is given. Once you have it in consciousness, then you'll see it in the outside world, because the outside world is just a mirror that reflects back to you your innermost depths of consciousness, which is why I always talk about hypnosis. Why I always say you are brainwashed no matter what. You're hypnotized no matter what. It's just a matter of, are you hypnotized for creating what you want in life, for your prayers and your wishes becoming reality? Or are you hypnotized to the idea that this is all BS and bogus and you couldn't do it, and you have 50 reasons, just like a grocery list of every reason it won't work? So you can get my free success hypnosis right there down below. So step number 4 is to develop your imagery. So right now, actually decide it with me. Just can think of it real quick. Your brain works in pictures, right? So when I say think of your car, you can see it. I can see my car. I can see the color of it. Think of your fridge. You see your fridge. Is it white? Is it black? Your mind works in pictures. And so think of the picture for the record player technique in the same way that I thought of that one, in the same way that the Native American chief was using the record player technique to, for just a few moments, flip images over and over of the rain hitting his body, of smelling the rain, of it all coming down, of the mud below his feet. That's a record player technique. And so ask yourself this question: if you had what you wanted, if you got what you wanted, if you got the money, if you got that job, if you got the soulmate, if the thing happened in your life, if you watched this video by me and you actually did it and you had an open mind, and then everything happened and even better than you originally thought, just from following this prayer technique from Gregg Braden, what would happen? And I want you to pick it, right? Are you jumping up and down with your son because you're a single mom and you finally just tripled your income and you're jumping up and down with your son because it's life-changing? Are you holding hands with your soulmate that you haven't met yet and you're out on the ridge of your 5-acre property overlooking the beautiful mountains and you can smell that gorgeous pine tree? Are you shaking hands with your new customers and clients and watching your bank account grow and grow and grow, and then yelling to your spouse like, oh my God, this great thing just happened? Just pick something that you can build into a mental image that you can make vivid enough to replay, that will evoke feeling, that will evoke emotion, that you can feel different after you get up from mentally rehearsing that scenario. That's what it means to pray for rain, right? And then step number 2, going back to my notes, is prayer is a feeling and feeling is a vibration. So prayer is about evoking a feeling which alters reality from a subatomic level. So by doing the record player technique, evoking the feeling of it over and over and over again, you are shifting your electromagnetic field. You're shifting your frequency. And we know from the observer effect from new science that consciousness that is observing reality has influence over it subconsciously. That sometimes there's subatomic particles that are visible and sometimes they're invisible. And that's why you could say mountains move and they shall, because Jesus was talking about projecting consciousness that would influence mountains, which are just a collection of subatomic particles, and that's what would cause the influence of it. And that's why it says, to those that have, more is given. Now, once you have your record player technique, your image, that could or would happen if what you wanted manifested instantly in this prayer technique worked times a million in your life. Once you have that, all you're going to do is go into that prayer and follow those simple steps. And every time your mind gets lost, bring it right back. Just like the crosshairs of a firearm, you bring it right back. And when you're bringing it right back, you just go right back to that image again until you evoke that feeling. Once you start to feel different and you can start to sit in that frequency, that's when you know that your prayer is complete. But be careful not to focus on the absence of what you want, because everything is two things: what you want and the absence of what you want. The chief could have thought he was praying for rain, but he could have really just been begging God to please make it rain, which is really a frequency of absence, which is really just reinforcing the same old, same old. But instead, the chief went into it, hearing the rain, smelling the rain, seeing the rain, feeling it on his body, hearing the lightning, all of it. So everything is two things. It's money and the absence of it. You could want money, but always be focused on the fact that you're broke and saying, God, please make me rich. Please help me out, guys. God, please, are you up there? I know I'm broke. Please help me. You could be doing the same thing with love. And all you're doing is creating more imagery of absence, reinforcing that feeling, that frequency, and then re-solidifying your reality down to the basic subatomic structure. Number 6 is not to overthink it, right? And when Gregg's telling that story, he does such a good job of illustrating, the programming of our human minds, of our Western minds, because he was waiting for this big long technique from the chief, and all of a sudden the chief's already done. He thought they were going to do this big ceremony and ask and do all this stuff. But what it really was is any of those rituals or techniques could be great, but the whole purpose of them is just to evoke a feeling. So don't overthink it. The goal is, do I feel different? Because you can feel grateful for already having the money, for already getting those huge sales, for your house selling, for attracting your soulmate, for your health, for really good news, whatever it is. You could feel excited that you know it's coming, or that you've already felt that it's real, and be sending out that frequency instead of the frequency that's in your bank account that says you're broke. You could be feeling like a happy spiritual multimillionaire, which is what I would do over and over. So every time I would overthink, I would repeat this simple phrase: I'm a happy spiritual multimillionaire. I learned that from Mike Dooley. I'm a happy spiritual multimillionaire. You could repeat it right there down below in the comments. Comment down below, I'm a happy spiritual millionaire, right there down below. Don't overthink it. Creation is finished. All the energy that ever was and ever will be already exists. Prayer is just a very simple, easy process of starting to feel grateful and connected to what we want, knowing not only is it already on the way, technically it's already here. It's just the subatomic reality hasn't showed up. It's like the observer effect. Instead of it being a localized particle in space and time, it's an invisible frequency pattern that's outside of this direction. But you can collapse space and time through the power of consciousness, and that's what prayer is all about. And last but not least, enter the timelessness realm. There is no time to the quantum field. There is no time to the universe. And a lot of times maybe you want to do this technique, right? And you're going to do this very simple prayer technique, which I'll link the 7 steps right there down below in the description and pinned to the comments. So you have these 7 steps. Extra love to anyone that comments these 7 steps down. But when you enter timelessness, what a lot of people do is they treat God like this vending machine in the sky. God, please give me, hello, anyone up there? Please help me out. Please, come on. And then they're constantly what you would say in sports, scoreboard watching. You're playing basketball and you're watching the scoreboard instead of really focused on the game. And that's what we do. We scoreboard watch. When's it coming? Does this work? Hey, does this really work? Was that guy Jake telling me the truth? Does Gregg Braden know what he's talking about? Right? When you enter timelessness, you have eternal patience because you already know that it's coming. So what happens often is, we'll use money for an easy example. Somebody will pray for money, but then 3 days go by and they'll go into their mobile banking and they'll see the lack of digits or the lack of zeros in there, and they'll go, oh my God, I'm broke. I wonder if this is going to work, or hopefully, God, are you there? And then they'll go back to that same prayer. God, please, come on. I'm getting desperate here, God. When you enter timelessness and you realize that we really live in an infinite universe and that the reality we experience is based off of our own perception, and that we influence reality down to a subatomic level through prayer, then really we realize what it says in the Bible, that the kingdom of heaven is within. And basically it opens up the door to endless possibilities for your life. So that's today's video. Make sure you get my free success hypnosis right there down below. It's jakeshypnosis.com right there down below. Be sure to check out some of Gregg Braden's books if you haven't yet. One of my favorite teachers. And think of one thing that you're grateful for and comment it right there down below. I'm grateful for not only the beautiful mountains and the beautiful desert, but I am grateful that my paradigm has shifted from thinking that prayer was some type of mystical woo-woo thing that didn't really work, and it was akin to lighting some incense, to prayer being a mathematical and scientific process that you can actually utilize in your life. And that's what Gregg Braden taught. You know, Wayne Dyer, he talks about a closed mind is the only mind worth losing. Right? I'm not even asking you to believe me that this technique worked for me. I'm not even asking you to believe Gregg Braden. And I'm sure he wouldn't either. He would ask you to test this in your own life. So for the next 30 days, I invite you in on a little prayer challenge. Let me move back. For the next 30 days, use this prayer technique and pick a specific thing that you're going to create in your life, and then just watch what happens in your life and watch how much influence prayer has on your reality. And thanks for watching today's video. Make sure you hit the subscribe bell notification. Get my free success hypnosis right there down below. It's jakeshypnosis.com right there down below. And I am going to go on a hike right now with my beautiful wife and my beautiful daughter. So I'm wishing you a great day of doing something that inspires you as well. And I'll talk to you soon.